Welcome to Cat and Jess Talk to Best, where we're going to be talking about IMDb's top 250 movies from April 12th, 2018. My name is Kat.
And I'm Jess.
And today we are talking about number 173, The Bandit, which is a crime drama thriller from 1996. This has an 8.3 on 58,581 votes. So, we are revealing the mystery line from Hacksaw Ridge, which I thought I wrote it down, but hold on. Oh my god, of course it's not gonna fucking work. Stupid computer. Okay. So the line was from Hacksaw Ridge, our mystery line. Insanity runs in my family. It practically gallops. And we did have someone guess it correctly. It was Mike Winningham on Facebook. He guessed the correct movie and actor and character, which is kind of crazy. Arsenic and Old Lace. And it was Cary Grant as Mortimer, he said. So good job.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, let's see. Like, good job to him. It's pretty impressive. So, we have green and dark blue left.
Green.
Alright. The line is Mr. Christian. And that's it. That's the line.
That's pretty short.
Yeah. So make sure you take your guess. That will be revealed in Tokyo Story. So the spoiler-free synopsis for The Bandit. Baran the Bandit, released from prison after 35 years, searches for vengeance and his old lover. Or I guess his lover.
Short and sweet to the point.
Yep. That was the only synopsis I could find.
So I apologize if I screw up these names. So this is directed by Yavuz Turgal, who also directed The Shadow Play, Love Lauren, and Hunting Season. The actors are Sender Sen, Ugar Usel, and Sermon Hermerick. Again, I apologize if I butchered those names as close as I could get.
Yeah, I don't know. So, the ratings for this, it was not on Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic. There weren't enough to give it a rating on either of those. But on IMDb, 40.1% of users that rated this movie rated it as at a 10. So, and it just kind of went down from there.
Wow.
Yeah. But the 10 and the 9 were the highest, but the difference between the 10 and the 9 was 19%.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why it's at an 8.3. So, all I could find on this for the money was that the budget was 1.2 million in Turkish money, which I don't know what they use. So, sorry.
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know. All it said was TUR, and I don't know what that means. I just know it's not dollars. It's whatever the Turkish people use. So That was the budget, $1.2 million. That's all the money I could find. And then for the awards, this did win 2 awards, and that was it. So the Bogey Awards in Germany, it won a Bogey Award. And then Festoria Toria International Film Festival, it won a Golden Dolphin.
That's an awesome award.
Yeah, I want that
dolphin.
one.
A golden dolphin.
Forget an Oscar. I want a Golden Dolphin. But yeah, that's all on the awards. So, initial thoughts?
Well, I would say this was a hard movie to find.
Yeah.
It was hard, so I was getting irritated. I was like, oh, this movie better be worth it. And it was alright. It was kind of slow. The end made up for it, I will say that. Yeah. The end definitely made up for it. You can tell it was made in the late 90s. I'll tell you that. Just like any like effects, any, filming wise, I just felt like that big 90s vibe for sure. But yeah, overall I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty slow. A lot of the effects weren't very good. The story was interesting. That's pretty much the only thing that saved it for me, was the story. The acting was pretty good for the most part. There's a few people that I was just like, okay, go away now. But for the main people, like the main 2 guys that were in it for the most part, I liked them. Just the story was super slow. I did like the end though. So.
Yeah, I liked the end a lot. I was like, all right, it's made up for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
That was your warning. If you haven't watched the film yet, then stop listening and come back after you've watched it. So, it starts off at the beginning with this gang. I guess they had just committed a crime and now they're running. And, well, it says it at first. Talks about it. And then, it's been 35 years and there's only one of them left. All the rest of them have died in that gang. And the one, his name is Baran, and he is getting out of prison after 35 years. And so he takes a little bus back into town. Well, I'm guessing the town that he lives in. Except for he doesn't stay there. He goes and he stays for a night, and then the next day goes to somewhere else, and he's out for a walk or a hike or something, but he has his briefcase with him, and he comes across this old town that's in ruins, and halfway the lake's or river or whatever is taken over part of it, and he seems kind of upset about that. And then this woman comes, and it looks like they just did makeup on her to make her look old, because it's not very good old age makeup.
No, I was like, you don't look that old.
I was like, you're definitely not that old, and that's some pretty bad old age makeup. But she tells him what happened, tells him that the river or something started flooding, and they told everyone to get out of town, and that basically this is lost forever now. And she said that she was too stubborn to leave, pretty much.
She's like, I'm a hardhead, I'm not leaving.
Yeah. And then she tells Baran that he's the same as his father, and he's stubborn and wants his vengeance just like his father did. Because she also tells him about his, like, some of the people, like, how he got caught and things like that. And that, the guy that took his wife, or soon-to-be wife, I guess, took her to Istanbul. And then she gives him, like, this little medallion thing to protect him from bullets.
Yeah.
And then he's, like, on his way. He leaves.
He's asking about this guy named Mustafa.
Yeah.
And he goes to see him, and Mustafa's like, oh, shit,
He's like, you're gonna kill me, aren't you? He said, yes.
And then he's like, well, asking him, he's like, where, what's Keji?
Yeah, where's Keji?
And Mustafa explains to him how, what the hell's his name? Burfo or something.
Yeah,
like
Burfo.
Pretty much was the one who put Baran in jail, pretty much snitched on him and everything, and took all of Baran's money and used it to give to Keji's dad so he could take her.
Yep.
And they went to Istanbul.
Yep.
So Mustafa tells him all this, of course, and he's like freaked out he's going to get shot, but then you see that Baran's just gone. He just leaves him.
Yep. And then we see him later on a train. The train arrives at the station and Baran is on it. But then there's this young guy, Kumali. We don't learn his name just yet, but his name is Kumali. And he is kind of freaking out. He goes and sits in the same little car as Baran. And they kind of talk and chat for a little bit. And I noticed that younger people call older people, or at least younger men call older men, uncle.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
And I guess that's like a thing of, like a term of respect type thing. Don't know.
I don't know either, but okay.
That's what it seemed like. But then they get to the train station, I guess, in Istanbul, and Kumali's kind of like freaking out because there's police there. And so he begs Baran to take this bag to someone. And so Kumali gets off the train and Baran leaves. And we see that the police take Kumali as soon as he gets off the train. And they're like searching his bag and stuff.
Because him and Baran switched bags.
Yep. And Baran takes the bag to where it needs to go. And by the time he gets there, Kumali has already gotten there because the police let him go. And so now he's like at this mob boss guy, and the mob boss guy is super mad because he saw Kumali with the police. But then Baran's like, well, here's what you were looking for. And like searches the bag, and then Baran and Kumali get to leave. And then they start parting ways, but then Kumali's like, do you even know where you're trying to go right now? He's like, no, I'm just gonna go look. And
He's like, this is Istanbul, it's huge, you're gonna get lost.
He's like, you're gonna look at like 5 million faces? He's like, yep, I'll look at all of them. I don't know if it was 5 million, but it was a lot. So
yeah.
So Kumali's like, well, just come with me, I'll get you a hotel, and then I'll like help you look. So he takes him to the hotel, and Kumali is outside, like talking to this woman. What's her name? Amel? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because her mom just calls her a slut and a whore because she's outside talking through the window to someone, and her mom doesn't know who it is, so she just calls her a slut. And I'm just like, that's kind of rude. But then Kumali tells his friends that he'll be back, and so he goes into the hotel with Baran, and the hotel manager guy is like super suspicious of Kumali, but Kumali lives in the hotel, so he just like lets him, and he's like, well, I need a room for this guy too, please. And Kumali, or the hotel manager guy, is not very happy, but he does it anyways. And then we see this old guy who's sick. We didn't catch his name, but him and another old guy are always in the living room of the hotel, or like the lobby of the hotel, watching TV.
Always.
Like the entire time. They're always watching TV. So Baran gets up to his room, and then Kumali's like talking to him, like asking him why he's there and what's going on. And Baran tells him, like, I'm looking for the man who stole my love, and I'm looking for my love because it's been 35 years. And Kumali's like, well, how do you know he's even still here? Or they're even still here? He's like, I don't know, but I'm gonna go look for him, okay?
Does he take him to the roof after this?
Yeah, they go up to the roof.
Okay.
And because the cops are outside, and so Kumali takes him up there because he doesn't want to go out with the cops up there. And Baran is like super amazed by the roof. He's just going on about how amazing it is, and like how huge the city is and stuff. And then
Kumali takes Emil to the jail to see her brother.
Yeah, that's right. And her brother's like saying he needs money to get out of jail or they're gonna kill him. And so Kumali's like, okay, well, I'll help you get the money.
And Baden he has binoculars with him, so he's using them to look around every place.
Yeah, he's kind of being a creeper.
Yeah, and someone's like, hey, don't be looking at people's windows.
Yeah, he's like on the beach looking at people, and the cop or beach patrol, whatever, comes up and like talks to him and tells him not to do that. He's like, you're being a creep. So he heads back to the hotel, and then Kumali is like walking around waiting for Baran because Baran wasn't there. But then he gets back to the hotel, and Kumali's like, well, where have you been? And Baran's like, well, I was lost. And Kumali's like, that's what I told you. You were going to get lost. And then they're sitting in there with the old guys watching TV. And they're also hanging out. There's like a little boy that hangs out at the hotel too, because him and his mom live there. And he's like, the little boy sees Baran's binoculars and he doesn't know what they are. So Baran takes him upstairs because his mom goes with her pimp because she's a whore.
Yeah. I'm like, she's legitimately a whore.
Yeah.
That's her job.
And so Baran takes the kid upstairs to kind of distract him away from his mom. And he's like showing him the binoculars, and then he's looking around and everything. And then he goes back downstairs. Oh wait, no. The kid asks him if he was a bandit. And Baran hears this. And Kumali hears the kid asking if he was a bandit, and Baran telling him like about his past and everything. And then they go back downstairs and they're watching like the news or something about this big huge millionaire or whatever who's been running this big company, but something happened and he's like in trouble or something now. I don't know. But Baran recognizes the old man, and he says that he found him. And then he goes...
He's like, this is the one I've been looking for.
Yeah. He's like, I know you. You may have changed your name, but I know who you are. Sorry, hold on. And so then Kumali is outside with his friends and he sees Baran like run out of the hotel. And Kumali was like threatening his friends with a gun for some reason. Because of some note, something that had happened earlier. And so Baran like runs out of the hotel right after that. And Kumali sees him and he's like, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "I need to go find him. This is the guy. This is who I'm looking for." And Kumali's like, that's probably not the best idea. Do you know who he is?" He's like, "Yeah, that's the point. I know who he is." And so Baran is like begging him, and then I guess he agrees to take him another day, but not that night because it's like late at night. And then so the next day, Kumali and his friends are breaking into a car, I guess to steal radios, because they say something about the radio later. So I think they're trying to steal the radio out of the car, but the alarm goes off, so they have to run. And they get back to the hotel, and the hotel manager is asking Baran for his money, and Kumali's like, "Oh, just put it on my bill." And then Kumali goes to like his mob boss guy, and he's like telling him, "Just give me another shot. I can do it. I promise I won't get caught by the cops this time." And so mob boss is like, "All right, if you think you can do it." And then
Drug deals in the club.
Yep, we get some drug deals in the club, and Kumali telling Emil that he's going to get the money for her brother. And then later, after the drug deals that are in the club, Baran is up on the roof, and he's kind of mad that Kumali hasn't taken him out to find her yet and find Burfo.
Yeah.
And so they kind of argue, and Kumali's like sitting there telling about his dad and stuff. And they tell us how his dad shot his wife and his mom, or his dad shot his mom and the man that she was in bed with because she was in bed with someone. So that's how that happened. And then Baran like goes on telling a story, like kind of the story about how Burfo stole Kefe or Keje. And then Kumali agrees for real to take him to the mansion. He's like, "Okay, we'll take you tomorrow." So the next day, and they're outside the mansion, and we see Burfo. He's like in the car getting ready, like he's leaving to go somewhere, and he sees Baran right outside the property, and he like has the car stop, and he rolls down the window and looks at him, and then he rolls it back up and leaves. So now he knows he's here.
Yeah.
And then a couple of men come and take Baran and Kumali, and they take him to jail. And they're like questioning him. And Kumali's like, "Yeah, he's new to the country, and he's new to the city, and he needs work. So we were just going there to see if maybe he changed his name, because his name isn't Burfo, like the city doesn't know him as Burfo, so he changed his name to something else. But he's like, we're seeing if he needs like a gardener or something, because my friend here needs work." So they let him go. And then they go outside, and more people take them. And they take just Baran to the mansion. And Baran meets with Burfo. And they're like talking about Keje and saying that she hasn't talked for 35 years, ever since he took her and Baran went to jail. And they're talking about how Burfo framed Baran because, or not framed him, but like turned him in because he was in love with KJ. But obviously KJ wasn't in love with him because she hasn't talked to him in 35 years.
35 years, they haven't done anything. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, she just like sits there and does nothing and won't talk to anybody. So Baran goes and talks to KJ and tells her about how he was in jail and he survived for her because he wanted to get back to her. And Burfo is like sitting right outside the room and can hear. And KJ finally says something. But she like says it super slow.
I mean, if you haven't talked in like 35 years, you're going to have a hard time.
Yeah. And then she says like she's been watching the stars waiting for him because something about the bandits always turn into stars or something.
Yeah.
And so she's been looking for his star, but she's never seen it, so she knew he was alive. And so she's been waiting for him. And Baran has to leave, but he says he'll come back for her. And then we jump to Kumali, and I just wrote Kumali paid, but I don't remember why. I think that's the part where he went and paid for Emil's. Or no, not yet. He doesn't do that yet. But he goes back to the mob boss guy. And he's talking to him, and because he pulled off the job successfully, I guess, he gets paid for that, and then he gets invited to be like a full-time member of the mob, I guess, that's what it was. It took me a minute.
Yeah.
And then the pimp guy back at the hotel is yelling at the lady. I don't know what her name is, but the lady that is a whore. And Baran comes up and stops him, like, tells him not to yell at him. And so the pimp headbutts Baran. And so he goes up to his room. And the lady is, like, super infatuated or something. And then Kumali... Or no, the little boy, he asks... he goes upstairs. And he asks Baran why he didn't kill the pimp. And Baran says that he doesn't do that anymore. And then Kumali comes up there and he talks to him and tells Baran that he's done with the mafia and he isn't gonna like do their jobs anymore. And I was like, well, that's kind of confusing because he just got accepted into the mafia, I thought. And then the hotel lady comes up to Baran, and she thanks him for saving her, really. And then the pimp comes later and collects her for a job, I guess. And then the old men are sitting in the lounge talking about wine. I don't know why. They're just talking about wine.
They're old men. What else are they going to talk about?
I don't know. The news. Books.
They already talked about the news and the books. They gotta go with something else.
They're on to wine now.
Yeah. And Kumali does one last drug deal at a club. So he can have enough money. Sorry. So he gets enough money to give to Emil's brother.
Yeah. And so he goes and tells her that he has enough to get her brother out, and so she's like super happy.
And then it goes to Well, she also tells the brother too.
Yeah.
And then it goes to Baran. He's asking Kamali to find him a job or something.
Yeah, because he wants to get him and Kej out of Istanbul. He wants to go back to their little village that they were from.
And that woman goes to Baron's room.
Yeah.
And he says Kumali paid her to go up there.
Yeah.
And do her stuff. And he's like, no.
He's like, you can just sit here, but I'm good. I have someone else. I'm good.
Yeah, then Emil goes to visit Kumali, and there's that action.
Yeah.
Thank him in her own special way.
Yeah. And so then we get like this really creepy hotel room pan. And it like pans up from the bottom to the top, and we see a guy hanging himself, and we see Kumali and Emil going at it, and we just see all kinds of stuff that's going on in the hotel. And then the next day, the coroner has come to get... It's one of the older guys.
It's the one that was sick.
Yeah, because one of them had some sort of something. So he was sparing himself from suffering. So he killed himself. And so they came and picked him up, and people are sitting outside, and they're all sad. And then Emil's mom comes and tells Kumali that Emil ran away, and that it wasn't her brother in jail, that it was her lover, and he just let him out. So, of course, Kumali's mad.
Well, yeah, dude got played.
Yeah. And then the mob boss finds out that Kumali was stealing some of his product to sell it. So he's all mad. And he's like threatening Kumali and beating him up and beating up his friends. Then Baran is like waiting outside the gate of the big place. Because he's going to go tell Kej that they're leaving, but then he says he'll be back again. Like, he keeps going and telling her that they're going to leave, and then he goes without her, and then comes back later, and he just keeps doing that.
Yeah. And Emil's mom tells Kamali where she is. She found out where she is.
Yep.
Goes this big old group and everything.
Yep. He takes all of his friends, and he takes Baran. And so they find Emil and her boyfriend. And Kamali's like super mad, and he's like yelling at them, and he cigarette burns the guy and like sticks the gun in his mouth and stuff. Says that the guy stole Emil from her, and then Baran's like, there's no use doing this. Like, her mind's made up. She did this. Let's just go. And so they kind of start to go, and then Kumali's like, nope, never mind. He turns around, barges back in, and he kills them.
Shoots them both.
Yep. So then Baran tells everyone, all the rest of the guys, to go home, and then he takes Kumali somewhere, and he's like telling them the plan, like they're going to go to the mountains, they're going to run away, but they have to go to the hotel and get their things first, and then they have to go pick up KJ. Or no, he has to go talk to KJ and say that he can't take her now because he has to take Kumali out of the city. And so they go get their things, but the police catch them at the hotel, and so they start running, and the police start shooting, but you don't notice just yet. They stop in like this, I think it's an old church.
That's what I wrote down to him, like, church, question mark?
It looked like a church. So they stop there and find out that Kumali was hit, like he got shot. And then they're going to go to Kumali's aunt. And so they go over there, but then she starts yelling about rape because she doesn't want him there. And so the police find them again. And they're like chasing them and everything. But then they manage to get away again. and they're sleeping on park benches.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, how did the police not find them there? But then they hear the sirens in the morning, and the police are on them again, and they wake up. So then they figure out they need the money to pay back the mob boss guy. And so they go to Keje, and Baran tells Keje he's going to have to leave her for now because he has to take Kumali out of the country, but he needs her help because they got to pay back the mob boss so the mob boss doesn't kill her or kill him. So Keje gets Burfo to write a check for however much he owes the mob boss guy. So Baran goes and, because the mob boss came and captured Kumali and his friends again, and they're like torturing him again. And so Baran takes a check over to him, and he's like, this isn't about the money, it's about my reputation. I can't let him get away with stealing from me. He's like, Baran's like, well, that's why I brought you this money, because then he's not stealing anymore. I'm like, I don't think that's how that works, but okay. And so then, because they get the check from Baran, they let Kumale and all of his friends go, but he threatens Kumale, tells him that he'll kill him if anything, if like he ever sees him again type thing. You know, the basic mob boss threat.
Usual.
So they're heading back to the hotel, and of course they're like all running and everything, and Baran gets lost. And all the guys are outside the hotel, and the mob boss guys show up, or the mob boss goons, they show up and tell Baran that the check bounced, and so they kill him. And so his friends take off.
What?
And, yeah, they shot Kumali.
You said Baran.
Oh, sorry. Whatever.
That's what I was confused. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, well, Baran is lost, so he's not back at the hotel yet, but Kumali and his friends are back at the hotel, and the mob boss guys come up and kill
Well,
Kumali.
they shoot him, yeah.
Well, he's dead.
Not yet.
He's gonna be dead, it doesn't matter.
Eventually.
He's dead.
He's gotta go up to the roof and then die.
He is dead. He's just a walking corpse. There ain't nobody gonna save him. He's dead.
On the roof.
But his friends run, and they see Baran and tell him that, like, everything that happened, and then, so Baran goes up to the roof and finds Kumali. And Kumali's, like, asking him if he's gonna die, and that he's saying that he's scared and stuff. And Baran's, like, trying to comfort him, and then he dies. See, so he was gonna die anyways.
On the roof.
Yeah. So then Baran goes to Burfo because he's mad that the check bounced, and Burfo's mad that he was gonna leave, that Baran was gonna leave Keje there because he wanted to save Kumale. And so Baran shoots him.
Hell yeah, he does. This is where it gets fun.
And then
because a bandit comes out. Comes loose.
Yep, and then he just kind of goes on a killing spree. Kills
Literally.
all kinds of people. Like, he kills the mob boss and all of his people.
Shoots a lady's pimp.
Yeah. He's just running all over, and he gets up to the roof, and the police are after him. And then he's, like, running across the roofs, and then there's the news about Baran, and the police are still chasing him everywhere, and then we get a shootout on the roof, which is, I think, probably the best part of the movie, is the shootout on the roof.
Yeah.
Because he's, like, running all over this roof, not getting shot, but then all of a sudden his little medallion thing falls off, and then he gets hit all kinds. And
it's like walking into the gunfire.
yeah.
I love how you're walking into the gunfire. There's fireworks going on in the background. I'm like,
yeah.
Beautiful.
And he, like, walks off over towards the edge of the roof, And I'm guessing he falls because of his injuries. Like, he finally succumbs to them. And then Keje's, like, looking up at the stars, and she sees a shooting star. And she knows that he's dead now. And then the old lady that was at the ruins, the, like, flooded city at the beginning, she sees the shooting star and somehow knows. And I'm just like, who is she? That she's that important. Now you have to be the last thing that you show us is her. But yeah, that's about the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's it.
I liked the end, the little shootout on the roofs. That was fun.
I did too.
That was a fun bit of action there. So the movie, or the music, is by Askin Arsunan and Erkin Ogor. The only thing that Askin has ever done before is Balalaika in 2000. Was the only thing he did besides this. And then Erkan did Toss Up in 2004, Mammo in 2009, and Marseille in 2016. His first ever thing that he did was this movie. So his first composition there. But I think he did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I'd say the music went with it pretty well.
It wasn't distracting. It fit.
Yeah. As far as I know, there's nothing really to compare this to.
Not that I can think of.
I don't think it's, like, based on anything real, and I don't think it's based on a book that I could find. So, it's just an original story. So, trivia?
I just got a few.
Okay.
This was the official submission for Turkey for Best Foreign Language Film. For the Academy Awards. Yeah. It didn't get nominated at all, but it was their submission. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Just two more. Because there's not much trivia for this.
Yeah.
So the director and the lead actor, the Sener Sen, the one who played the bandit, Baran, they've worked on 7 movies together so far.
Dang.
Yeah, so they like to work together a lot. And this one's cool. So the lady who plays Keje in the movie, her and Sander were actually married at the time. When they were doing this movie.
That's cool.
And I'm like, okay, this makes sense now. Why they're so, like, kind of tender towards each other and it looks genuine. That's why. But then they got divorced later. So, yeah.
Okay. So, where it has been on the list before and where it's at now. So, the only lists it was on was the 2016. It was number 142. 2018, it was number 192. And then as of today, when we are recording, it is number 181. So, it's just kind of sitting here in the 180s, 190s area.
All right.
It's just kind of chilling. And then previously, number 173, the 2010 list, How to Train Your Dragon, from 2010. The 2012 list, There Will Be Blood, from 2007. The 2014 list, Life of Brian, from 1979. 2016 list, The Thing, from 1982. The 2018 list, Cool Hand Luke, from 1967. And as of today, when we are recording, Fargo, from 1996.
It's funny, I'm looking at all these, I'm like, we've either had these or going to have these very soon.
Yep. So we're getting to the point where we're starting to really just get into movies that are on the list or have been on the list for a while.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm like, we've had
of,
some of these. We'll
Yeah.
have some of these coming up very soon. So.
Yeah, it's just a matter of where they're going to
Exactly.
be. So some of our podcast trivia. This is the first movie that we've had from 1996. So that's kind of cool. This is also our first Turkish movie. So that's pretty cool. This is right around the same amount of votes as one of our Christmas event or holiday event movies. Krampus had about the same amount of votes as this movie. Which is kind of funny because this is from Turkey, so not really many people have seen it, except for people that live there in Turkey and then like the surrounding countries probably, because it didn't have a release here and it's almost impossible to find here. And then that just shows how much of a cult movie Krampus is.
That's why I'm laughing. I'm like, those two together, that's funny.
But yeah, that's it, because this didn't have any Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic ratings. So that's all for that. So favorite line.
I got 5.
Okay.
I'll go.
Sorry.
You should never trust a woman. They are a cock tease. In Istanbul, everyone is your enemy. I am ready to burn in hell for this love. You are powerful with money. And what does life matter in the face of love?
Okay. I don't think I had any of those.
Oh, good.
I will look at 10 million faces if I have to. See, I was close. I said 5 million. A half. Do bandits still turn into stars when they die? I liked that one a lot. That was like the first thing that KJ said. The other one I had was like the like longest. The next one I had is like really long, so I probably won't pick it, but I liked it. Don't be afraid. You will just go to soil. Then you will become soil. Then you will walk to the body of a flower with waters. From there you will reach the essence. A bee will get to the essence of the flower. Maybe that bee will be me. When Baran is like comforting Kumali before he dies.
Yeah, I recognized it.
Oh, I did have the what does life matter in the face of love? And then I have one more that's a little bit long. Once I came face to face with a wolf. I pointed my gun at her and the wolf was growling. I thought one of us will be dead in a moment, a matter of strength. And then the last thing that Baran says, I am coming, bandits.
What do you think?
My favorite one is, do bandits still turn into stars when they die?
I don't like it.
You want to go with that one?
Yeah, it's a nice line.
Okay. Oh, I got a fuzz on my pen. Alright, so what is your rating?
I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay.
So I was looking at my 5s, looking at my 6s, if it's better with my 6s. And also, it's that end part, like, it just, like, made up for the entire movie for me. It did. I was like, all right, we're getting some action here. I'm like, it was just not right enough amount of action for me to be like, okay, this is an all right movie. You know, because it was slow. It was slow. But then it just, like, that end part just helps pick it all up. Like, all the pacing that was slow, it just went, like, in a full gear at the end. Which is great.
Yeah.
But, yeah, a little slow. Again, some special effects not great, but yeah, I just think it's a 6 for me.
Okay. For me, this is a 5. It just kind of fit better with my 5s. I did like the story. I just felt like it was super slow. Like I was kind of fighting, doing other things. I was able to focus on it, but I was like fighting it to where I really wanted to just stop watching it and go do something else. I really did like the end. And then the two main actors, the Kumali and Baran, I really liked them a lot. They were really good. The effects were not the greatest. But it's just kind of where it fit for me. Like, it's not a terrible movie, but it's not an amazing movie. It's just kind of right there in the middle for me.
Yeah. I get you.
But I don't feel like it was a waste of time.
No, I didn't think that at all, actually. I was very pleased. I was like, oh.
Yeah,
well, I can say I've seen a movie that's in Turkish.
Yeah.
I've told people, like, I'm going to watch a Turkish movie. They're like, what? I'm like, this is what I do. I watch movies in different languages half the time. And it's fun.
Yeah, most of them have been in different languages. There's been a lot in different languages so far. But yeah, it was a good movie. It just kind of fit in the middle for me, so it's gonna be a 5 for me. So our next film is Rebecca from 1940, and that is an Alfred Hitchcock movie.
Yeah, it's one of his first ones, too. I'm excited.
Yeah. And it is based on a book, so if you can find it, it's actually a really popular book I found. And like the first line of the book, even if you don't know the book, you most likely know the first line. Which I can't read right now because I don't have my tablet that has the book on it. So.
I was like, my book's in the other room.
Yeah, so I can't read it right now, but I'll be intrigued to see if it's in the movie.
I will too. I'm pretty excited for this movie.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good because I really enjoyed the book. I was able to finish it today. You finished it yesterday.
Loved the book. Love it.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. I'm going to go buy it soon, actually.
Yeah, it was a really good book. I just bought 2 new books, so I can't buy another one right now. But when I can buy another one, I will buy it.
Sean's like, no.
So yeah, next week... Or no, not next week. Next week's actually going to be our event. So the week after our event is going to be Rebecca. Next week, our event is our superhero event. And the movies that I picked are Batman, Mask of the Phantasm from 1993. And then Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse from 2018.
And I picked Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from 1995 and Avengers Endgame from 2019.
Yep. So make sure you check that out next week. And then the week after, we'll be back on our normal list. We will be going with Rebecca again. So we are offering Premium and Patreon. Those both help us pay for the website. So for $1 a month, you can get unedited episodes, early release episodes, and a bonus episode every month. For $5 a month, you'll get all of that, plus you'll be able to join us for a movie of your choice every 50 movies, and you can vote on the upcoming patron-only bonus episodes every month. Then for $10 a month, you will get all of the first 2 tiers, and you will be able to join us for a live stream Q&A once a month. Which as soon as we have a $10 patron or premium member, then we will figure out how to do that. And instead of it being every 50 movies you could join us for every 25 movies. You can pick one. Or you can pick an event, like you could do Halloween or the holiday or superhero. You can pick one of those events to join us for. Not the Harry Potter one, though, because we already did that one.
It's like we have 2 guests for that already.
Yep, we've got that one covered. So our next special episode, we did our one for February already. It came out the night before the Oscars. It was our Oscar predictions, and we were going to do Razzies in February because it was supposed to come on in February, the Razzie Awards, but now we're going to move it to March because the Razzies are going to be awarded March
14th.
That's it. And so make sure you check the Oscars one out if you haven't listened to it. It's up there for you guys, and then Razzies will be out next month. So if you can't do premium or Patreon, it's completely understandable. No problems. Ratings and reviews help us actually even more, because ratings help us get new listeners and reviews help us know what you guys like and what you don't like. So if you could leave ratings and reviews for us, that would be great, just wherever you get the podcast. And then if you want to talk to us, you can email us. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All of the links are in the show notes. And you can find the links to Patreon in the show notes as well. And our website. All of our episodes are on our website, because it's getting to the point where not all the episodes are on the streaming podcast sites. Our music is by Audio Binger. You can find him on Facebook, YouTube, and his website, audiobinger.net. So until next week with our superhero event, thank you so much for listening, and catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.